The Mystara project is proud to present Part 32 of the Creatures of Mystara series. In this video, we take a look at Beastmen, specifically the Grruuk. Beastmen were first introduced, without stats, in the 1988 Gazetteer, Gaz 10, The Orcs of Thar, Dungeon Master's booklet, on page 3. It is noted that the term Beastmen can generally be used to refer to any humanoid with a bestial head. Like the Tralda referring to hyena-headed gnolls as Beastmen in BC 1000, the Beastmen from an outer plane that formed part of the wizard Elodius's invasion of Alfheim in AC 550, and the Beastmen of the Vufold Hills, that were fleeing the Abelarth invasion, in the spring of AC 1003, that ran on all fours, with heads and shoulders resembling lions, snakes, boars, bears, wolves and wildcats. According to the Goblin Immortal, Woga the Wolflord, around BC 4500, the immortal hierarchs of the four non-entropic spheres were alarmed at how widespread wickedness had become in the humans and demi-humans of Mystara. Woga believes these hierarchs decided that the most wicked humans and demi-humans should be reborn as beastmen, to live a life of hardship and atone for their heinous sins. They were to endure the hatred of other species, suffer pain and hunger, and die on the battlefield, but they would never disappear. There were great numbers who qualified, so the Beastmen became a new major species. What Woga does not yet know is that the hierarchs, perhaps unwisely, outsourced the reincarnation aspect to a specialist, Hel, the hierarch of entropy. Hel was not concerned about atonement, instead she saw an opportunity to introduce more confusion, dismay and death into the world. Hel placed the reincarnated evil souls into humanoid bodies with bestial aspects into the frozen upper Borean Valley, near the source of the Borean River, in the Arctic Circle. She made Beastmen reproduction random, so that offspring would look vastly different from their parents and siblings, pleasing her chaotic alignment philosophy. The Beastmen were soon discovered by humans to the south, including the new Thonian barony of Blackmoor. Gaz 10's timeline means that there were no orcs and their related humanoids at this time, which requires some adjustments to the DA series of adventure modules, set around BC 4000. References to these creatures will have to be reinterpreted as Beastmen. So, at this time, Beastmen of the Black Hand, based in the Stormkiller Mountains, were in the midst of their sixth war with the Old Dwarfs, in the Crystal Peaks, after the former captured the Regent of the Mines, whilst he was hunting. In BC 4000, it is noted that the Hollow World map shows the Beastmen occupying the Midlands region of Brune, southwest of the lake known as the Cradle. This could be a migration from the main Beastmen occupying the upper Borean Valley, near the west coast of the Frosthaven Sea. It is possible that some Beastmen migrated across the frozen sea, to the island of Frosthaven, and later evolved into frost giants. The crashed FSS Beagle spaceship, in the Valley of Ancients, south of Blackmoor, had some large Beastmen specimens in its enviopods. Clans of Beastmen served Prince Morcock the Slayer, in the realm of the Egg, northwest of Blackmoor. Hunting bands of 13 Beastmen roamed the barrens of Karsh to the west of the Duchy of Ten. Large Beastmen inhabited the Superstition Mountains. Some came into the Duchy of Ten to prey on refugees and other creatures, during the Afridi invasion. The Afridi enslaved one to use to turn an elevator winch in exchange for manflesh, at Tor Kuram, in the barrens of Karsh. Large Beastmen also roamed the Dragon Hills, south of Blackmoor, in groups of 6. In 3500 BC, Blackmoor priests demanded the extermination of the unnatural Beastmen of the Borean Valley. For the next 3 centuries, the priests led crusades against the Beastmen, driving them farther north. In BC 3200, the retreating Beastmen reached the safety of the Darkland zone of northeastern Hyboria, near the northern polar opening. They adapted to the Arctic climate, producing Arctic breeds of their species. In BC 3000, the Beastmen rejoiced when they believed their enemies had been wiped out by the Great Rain of Fire. Seeing it as the will of the Immortals, ushering in a golden age, where the world was left solely for the Grruuk, as they called themselves. The after effects of the cataclysm were referred to as times of interesting weather by the Beastmen. Their homeland rotated with the rest of the planet, but was still within the Arctic Circle. By 2400 BC, the Beastman homeland in Hyboria started to warm up. They had also encountered humans, and discovered they had not been completely destroyed. These developments split the Beastmen. Some remained, while others migrated east along the White Sea coast, reaching their original Upper Borean homeland. From there, they headed south along the Borean River, until they founded Erzud, where the Borean River forks. Others, who wished to avoid humans, and preferred the colder Darklands, migrated back to the northern polar opening, which now lay above what used to be Black Moor, buried as it was deep below the ice, as a post-nuclear barren tract of land. At this stage, a few Beastmen started breeding true. Intrigued by the Beastmen, the immortal Ka the Preserver inspired one of the chiefs and their followers to migrate north, through the psychological barrier of the fog bank. The tribe, relying on their infravision at times, and lit fires alternately, kept pressing to what they thought was north. However, they actually followed a spiral migration pattern, around the lip of the polar opening, eventually emerging from the foggy Darklands into a strange new world. They were amazed by the red sun, no night, and no horizon. Ka the Preserver altered the Beastmen, so they would continue to not breed true, and he removed their evil taint. Hell abandoned the Beastmen at this juncture, as Ka became their sole patron. The Beastmen started settling in small villages across the Arctic tundra. They hunted seals, walruses, polar bears and the occasional whale. Without any sentient competitors, they rapidly grew in population, spreading throughout the northern icy wastes region of the continent of Iceria. Sometime after BC 2400, Beastmen engineers oversaw construction of the Great Bridge, across the central river of their territories, north of what are now called the Icevale Mountains. By BC 2000, the Outer World Beastmen had started breeding true, as kobolds, goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, bugbears, ogres, trolls and giants. Perhaps the latter were only hill and frost breeds. In BC 1722, Antalians appeared to the southeast of the Beastmen in Iceria. Conflicts began, as the Antalians viewed the Beastmen like King Lork's great horde, that had ravaged their outer world homeland of Norvold. In 1650 BC, Icevale elves appeared in the mountains south of the Beastmen wastes, in northern Iceria. The Beastmen have since alternated between war and trade with the elves and Antalians, so they are not fighting on two fronts. Beastmen were introduced as a playable character class in the 1990 Hollow World boxed set. Abbreviated stats for typical Beastmen were provided in the Dungeon Master's sourcebook, on page 37. Beastmen have a natural armor class of 7, due to their tough hides. Some wear leather armor, probably crafted from walrus hide, but it does not improve their defense. Except for the Wakani, they may use normal, horned, or tusked shields, but typical Grruuk do not. They have 2-hit dice, and vary in height from smaller than man-sized to man-sized. They move at the same rate as an unencumbered human. They attack with spears, harpoons, axes, battle axes, short swords, maces, clubs, hammers, war hammers, javelins, nets, slings, and short knives. They obtain some of these weapons through trade with the Antalians and Icevale. Wakani are limited to knives, clubs, and nets, whilst shamans of Ka are limited to non-edged weapons. Typical Beastmen have above-average strength, inflicting an extra point of damage. Their number appearing was not provided, but they could be encountered alone, or as an entire tribe of up to 150. Their saving throw success chances range from 25 to 45%. They have normal morale of 8, fleeing about 36% of the time. Their treasure type was not provided, but it would be meager, as they do not use currency. Beastmen may be of any alignment, but more are neutral. Grruuk player characters are limited to 16 in intelligence and wisdom. They get +1 adjustments to strength and constitution, in exchange for -2 to dexterity. Strength is the primary requisite and must at least be 10. Their minimum constitution is also 10. They get 1d8 plus 1 hit dice, and have a maximum level of 18. Shamans of Ka cannot be chaotic, they must have 16 wisdom, and can reach 8th level. Wakani must have 16 intelligence, and can reach 4th level. Beastmen have 60-foot infravision. 100,000 Grruuk inhabit the Beastmen wastes of northern Iceria, in hundreds of villages, each populated by 100 or so. Their territories lie north of about the 35-degree parallel from the equator, are freezing cold, and are often plagued by howling winds that bring clouds and fog banks. Most villages are independent, but some have been allied by ambitious war chiefs. When they are not busy hunting or warring with non-beastmen, they occasionally fight each other. The beastmen also have dealings with their other neighbors. They have learnt to speak Nether, indicating possible trade and warfare with those southern tribes. They also trade their furs for farm produce, from the Azcan town of Isumal in the southwest. They cut holes in the ice to fish. Storytelling, particularly about good fights or struggles against nature, is very popular. However, seemingly tall tales cause the audience to demand proof, mocking the storyteller and giving them a friendly beating if they are unconvinced. Beastmen wear thick insulated pants, fur boots, hooded parkas of fur, made from polar bear, Arctic wolf, walrus, or seal skin. Experienced beastmen warriors of level 5 or higher usually have polar bearskin clothing to demonstrate their prowess. They have 5 main skin tones, each representing about 16% of the population, namely, sickly yellow, pasty green, muddy brown, leprous white and reddish brown. The remainder have 2 of those colors, and are mottled and spotted. There are 6 main hair colors, each representing about 12.5% of the population, comprising black, brown, green, yellow, red and blue. 12.5% are bald, and the remainder have a combination of 2 of the 6 colors. There are 8 iris colors, distributed evenly in the population, namely, black, blue, green, brown, red, yellow, gray and white. There are 6 eye pupil colors. 25% each have black or brown, the remainder are evenly split between white, red, green and yellow. 4 eye sclera colors, half are white, 25% are yellow, and 25% are pale green. Male height ranges from 2 foot 9 to 7 foot 11, so they are shorter than modern humanoids. Female height ranges from 3 foot 6 to 6 foot 8. Male weight ranges from 150 to 300 pounds, whilst females are between 5 and 260 pounds. Ears vary in size, with their tips either being rounded or pointed. Teeth are evenly split between human-like, short shark-like, protruding upper canines, protruding lower canines, a rabbit-like overbite, or a protruding upper jaw and underbite. 50% of beastmen have unusual physical characteristics, like extra furriness, 1 eye, 3 eyes, or other markings. Beastmen goals in order of priority are survival, breeding, and demonstrating great prowess with weapons. The latter goal is pursued by raiding other beastmen villages and non-beastmen lands. A few beastmen become adventurers, going on glorious quests to the south. Those that return usually bring back an exotic mate. Others may choose to found their own tribe in the southern lands, especially if they were outcasts. A very few great beastmen have killed a polar bear in single combat, regarded as the ultimate heroic act. These heroic warriors are almost worshipped by their tribesmen. Due to their harsh environment, the beastmen are cruel, brutal, and pragmatic, but not evil. They appear to have Stone Age technology, as per the Poor Wizard's Almanac. As they need to trade to obtain iron goods, the Hollow World boxed set Iron Age technology description appears to be an error. Village kings are chosen by combat. The frequency of challenges is directly correlated with the king's competence, as good leaders are rarely challenged. Should a king be ill or injured when challenged, a deputy may be nominated to fight in their stead. Beastmen are aware they came from a different world, but non-beastmen don't believe them. Beastmen shamans know their ancestors were once reincarnated wicked beings, but Ka has told them they are no longer tainted by evil. Grruuk is an oral language, as the beastmen are illiterate. They also speak Nether. Tribes bordering other peoples may have learnt their languages, like Antalian, Elvish, and Azcan. Beastmen mainly trade furs for iron implements, and sometimes slaves and exotic goods. Beastmen live in igloo complexes in groups of 10 to 50, connected by ice tunnels. Each Beastmen village has a standing war party of about 9 warriors and a war chief with 8 to 12 hit dice. In times of war, this can swell to about 94 warriors, led by the war chief, a deputy war chief, and 4 sergeants. Both males and females fight. Tribesmen wear walrus hide leather armor, use shields, and wield a spear and sling. The troops are below average quality, compared to other militaries of the world. Grruuk Bearcrusher is the 45-year-old, 8-hit dice chief warrior of a Beastmen village. He earned his nickname by killing a polar bear in single combat in his youth. In his younger days he adventured as far south as the Neether Plains. His voice is listened to at Beastmen councils, and he has numerous children and grandchildren. He carves bone into jewelry, like beads, medallions, rings and statuettes, often gifting them to visitors. He speaks the tongues of all the foreigners who border the wastes, except Azcan. Grruuk's son Grruuk is a 4-hit dice beastman, who is keen to adventure. Grruuk's youngest daughter is Grruuk the Reincarnated, a 1-hit dice beastwoman. Her family considers her to be crazy, for believing she is a reincarnated elf, being punished for her past life sins. Her family tries to keep her hidden out of shame. At the start of AC 1000, Grruuk the Itchy is a 9-year-old beastwoman. Beastmen are primarily designed for adventurers to encounter them when moving through the Arctic of Iceria. Adventurers seeing a group of beastmen for the first time are likely to mistake them for a motley group of different types of humanoids. If the PCs don't attack, the beastmen try to make friendly gestures to invite them to stay. Grruuk Bearcrusher is suggested as the first beastman that the adventurers should meet. In addition to Neether, he also speaks Elvish, which has a higher chance of being understood by Outer World PCs. If the PCs have just made it through the Darklands and Antimagic zone of the polar opening, they are likely to take Grruuk up on his hospitality. He will show them his carvings, and may gift them one if they impress him. That night, the PCs will join the tribe for a protein-laden meal and boastful storytelling. The PCs will be encouraged to tell tales of their deeds and show proof. At least one Beastman warrior will challenge the toughest-looking PC to a first blood duel or wrestling match. If the PC does well, they may even invite them on a polar bear hunting contest. Whoever kills a bear first wins. If the PCs stay more than one night, they will be expected to help hunt food, leading to possible encounters with frost salamanders, hydrax, snow apes, sasquatch, cold drakes, arctic wolves and perhaps a white dragon. Perhaps the beastmen could dare the adventurers to brave the monster-infested dangers of the Great Bridge. For some comic relief, PCs with charismas less than 8, or beastman-descended humanoid PCs with charisma greater than 12, may find themselves the target of an amorous advance from one of the Grruuk. If the PCs are looking to recruit a beastman adventuring companion, Grruuk is too old, and will not leave. But his son, Grruuk, is keen to undertake a glorious quest to other lands. Before the PCs leave, they will be discreetly approached by Grruuk's youngest daughter Grruuk the Reincarnated. She will tell the PCs the story of her past life, and how she needs to find the southern elven land, to atone for her past life sins. She just needs the PCs to help her escape. If the PCs ask around, they will discover everyone thinks she is crazy. In terms of future history, Grruuk the Itchy has become a 16th level war chieftainess of her tribe by AC 1010. Her goal is to unite as many tribes as possible, to conquer the more fertile lands of Icevale and the Antalians. PCs could support, or oppose her, with diplomacy and mass combat opportunities to experience. Sometime in AC 1010, possibly Flormont, the Traladaran adventuring magic user, Clarantza the Seer, learns about beastman culture as she travels north through their lands. Some tribes help her, others hinder her, but she manages to escape through the northern polar opening, to return home and write of her hollow world travels. On the 3rd of Yarthmont AC 1012, the Karamekan expedition to the hollow world, possibly containing the PCs, enters a forested valley in the Beastmen wastes. 20 days later they meet beastmen in a great swamp. Suppressing their instinct to attack, they notice the beastmen do not appear to be hostile. Communicating through body language, the Karamekans follow the beastmen to their village. They enjoy the beastmen's hospitality for 3 weeks, leaving behind one of their dogs that the chief's daughter fell in love with. A few beastmen adventurers have been known to brave the northern polar opening and reach the outer world, emerging somewhere between Hyboria and the Nentzen Peninsula. They could be potential companions in northern lands like Norvold, but they never reveal their homeland, to prevent unwanted visitors. This concludes our look at the brutal Arctic beastmen, or Grruuk in their own tongue, and their high genetic variability.